Happy Friday, YTPC. Crafty piping back again. Um, we watched some of your guys' videos and saw where some of you were doing a VR to Uncle Dave about things that scared you. So I checked out his channel, subscribed. Um, Seems like a pretty down to earth guy. Well, I decided that I was going to do another VR this week about something that scared me. It's work related, as most of my life is. But first things first, smoking my Peterson Deluxe system pipe. It is a 2S. I'm not sure what shape you call that, but it's got the silver bolsters. Smoking some GLPs, the Virginia Cream. Lasts a little bit. Got left in the tin. But yeah, so um, here's a story from something that scared the living daylights out of me. So about a year ago now, I've been working with this company now for going on 4 years, and about a year ago, I was doing a startup on a 400 horsepower Ingersoll Rand industrial electric air compressor out at a steel mill up north of me here, and when you do a startup, it's pretty. You got a whole written procedure for things. You have a checklist of things you have to check, especially for this because it was on a variable speed drive. So it had a full startup form from the factory that I have to fill out to make sure that everything's checked the way the factory wants it. That way it's covered under warranty. Um, so I went up there and we have all of our arc flash gear. Anybody who doesn't know what arc flash is, if you've never worked around medium or high voltage equipment, it's basically where if you have a major short in your power, so on industrial power, this instance was 480 volt, three phase. You have three lines. Your house only has one hot. This has three hots. If any of those two hots cross in short, basically a arc flash is a ball of plasma that is conductive and like 10 times hotter than the surface of the sun. Not good. It's basically a bomb going off in your face if you're standing in front of it. And if you do your P's and Q's and do all your safety checks and lock out, make sure power's off before you go messing around with stuff, it's very uncommon. It does happen, but it's fairly uncommon. So, can't keep my pipe lip. Uh, Either way, so usually when we go to startup, we are not supposed to um, install the incoming power lines coming into any compressor. That's our company standard. We can switch them, but we're not supposed to do initial connections. So fine and dandy. I do my checks. Everything looks good. I pulled the electrical panel covers off, make sure everything's tight, everything looks fine. Uh, Nothing out of the ordinary. So I do the rest of my checks. And the electrical disconnect off to the right side of the compressor. So if your main starting cabinet's here, about 7-8 feet away to the right on the wall is a large switch. So you throw the switch and it throws power to the machine, and it starts. Well, it doesn't start automatically, but it'll start booting up like your computer would. The controller kicks on and starts loading up the program. So take all the shipping brackets out of it. Make sure the factory put oil in it first. They've shipped machines without oil before, and that's always fun when you got to fill a 40 gallons of oil and you don't have more than 10 on your truck, so you got to figure out where to get oil from. Well, in this case, everything was fine. Check for any loose fittings, any loose hoses. Verified install was good and up to factory specs. The customer is supposed to supply 6-foot clearance around the machine for service reasons, and that's a rare commodity. Space is money, and these machines are massive. So in this situation, didn't have quite 6 foot on the front side of the machine. The control panel probably had about 4 or 5. So it's close. So good enough for me. I mean, I'm not going to nitpick over that. And the factory doesn't really care. That's more of a recommendation than it is a mandatory feature. So buttoned everything up. And I only locked. There's a set of door locks that go around this machine, around the electrical panel, or the cabinet for this compressor. I usually only lock one of them because never had a problem. I'm not going to stay right in front of it. I want to energize it the first time because you never know. So I put all my arc flash gear on, and there's different levels of arc flash gear. At my last job, I used to wear the full 40 calories, like the energy that is determined to be released when an arc flash occurs at a particular location. And our company, the way these machines are engineered, they say we need no less than an 8-calorie garb, PPE, protective equipment, whatever you want to call it. So I put my balaclava on. I already had my FR, fire retardant, shirt and pants on, cotton undershirt. Put my arc hood on with my hard hat, earring protection in, safety glasses. Whole 9. Gloves, double gloved, rubber gloves underneath, leather gloves on top. Pulled my lock off the disconnect. Next thing I know, whenever you, like I said, I don't know how many of you have actually dealt with large scale industrial electric. You should always stay off to the side of the disconnect whenever you energize it because you don't know what's going to happen. So I always stand off to the right side, pull the lever with my left arm straight down, looking away. Next thing I know, as soon as that disconnect flicks up to energize, whoa, boom! Lights go out in the room. Stuff's falling from the ceiling. I'm checking myself because I thought for sure I'm dead. You can't see nothing. You didn't feel anything, but you felt the concussion in your chest. And if you've ever been to like a gun range where somebody lets off a 12 gauge inside, imagine that, but like 5 times worse. I mean, just immense concussive force. So after I verified that I still had both arms, both legs, and I was breathing, I got my flashlight out and turned around. Sure enough, the whole door panel is just blown off, wide open. It's been out. I mean, I don't think it would have mattered if I locked all of the locks. They're just little flimsy pieces of sheet metal. It was going to come off no matter what I did. So, come to find out, once we got the lights put back on and I turned the disconnect off, mind you, it blew every fuse. It blew the main breaker all the way back to the switch gear. Come to find out, when their electricians wired the incoming power to the drive, they used the included bolts that come with the drive. But the bolts are supposed to be facing bolt head to the back of the tab. Then the threaded section of the bolt facing out, so it's away from everything. It's out in the open. Or they put it the other way. And right behind this drive, piece of sheet metal that the drive's mounted to. That's grounded. So when I did my after action review, come to find out, we were about maybe an eighth of an inch away from that metal sheet. So needless to say, it arced. All three phases went to ground. Ruined the drive. Drive was like, gosh, I think it was like $38,000 at the time. It's probably more now. But to be standing there, never had a problem, never experienced an arc flash in my life. Seen videos, been trained, never have seen one, heard one. I've seen motors blow up, but this was different. This was like you're standing next to a bomb. And you're just standing there facing away from the machine. And all of a sudden you throw that switch and you just feel this massive force just run through your body. And you, even with your earplugs in, man, I could not hear for a good 45 minutes. I mean, it was deafening. Still had my pants were in order. We didn't have to call it code brown. But yeah, that is my story as to probably the scariest thing that's ever happened to me in my life this far. Luckily, nobody got hurt, but definitely an eye opener. Didn't get reprimanded for it because luckily this is why our company has these policies: is we don't do initial connections. I should have caught it, and my boss even told me that. But he's like, hey, he's like, you did everything you were supposed to do. So I still have my job, thank God. But yeah, so yeah, that's the end of my story. So hope you guys are having a good week. Enjoy the weekend. I can't wait to be off call. Got called out last night at 11 o'clock at night. Got home about 1:30 in the morning. Wasn't too bad. Kind of a stupid call, but easy money. Guaranteed minimum 4-hour charge. So I'll take that. I encourage you guys to do your own VRs for Uncle Dave about something that scared you. Just kind of tell your stories. Yeah, he doesn't want scary stories. He wants something that scared you. So yeah, guys have a good weekend. Stay safe, and cheers.